go over here. There's a 10-second delay.
Okay.
So let's see if... Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let's see the comments. Okay. Tangi's here. Jackie's here. Lady Knight of Avalon is here. Can you all hear me and see me okay? Hi, why? Yay! Okay, so computer is working. You can see me. You can hear me. Let's just jump right in because this is an interview series. It's a live interview series. I don't want to just keep chatting about me and then, no meat for the live interview. So today, my first ever live interview series, which is entitled Why Asks. Get it? You better get it. Today's guest, I am so excited. I'm like so excited. So excited. I have been doing some research on this amazing, amazing person. And I have learned so much about her. And my mind is like what? How have you achieved so much with so many amazing things? So without further ado, I'm going to do this right now. Officially, hello and welcome to Why Ask live interview series. Today's guest, she is a life coach. She's a counselor. She is an intuitive healer. She is a tarot reader. She is an author. She is a deck creator. She is a self-publisher. She is a YouTuber. And she is, most importantly, a mother. I mean, hello. So, are you ready? Drum roll. Everybody, please welcome the amazing Julianne.
Hi, everyone. Hello. I can see everyone who's here. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So, y'all, this is her first live ever on YouTube.
I'm a little nervous. It's funny. I'm on camera all the time, but not live.
But not live. But everybody say, just drop in an emoji in the chat, some kind of like hi emoji or whatever, so that you're showing some support, so that Julianne is not nervous anymore.
It's not that bad. It's okay.
Right. Okay.
It's funny. I was like, I'm nervous. What?
Okay, so first off, Julianne Victoria. Can I call you Julie? Julianne?
Fine, yeah. Julie's great.
Julie?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, why?
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited. I'm like hyped up right now. I'm keeping my eyes on the time so that we don't run out of time. Okay. And I just want to talk about everything about you.
Okay.
Well, and your knowledge and your advice, your insight, everything.
Okay.
All the good stuff. But we are going to keep it fun because this is my channel. On the Cusp Tarot, it's all about fun. So we'll keep it lighthearted. If we get serious, we get serious. If we don't, we don't. Okay.
Okay.
First off, as many of you know, if you're a subscriber, you know that I have done this segment, one of my earlier video, my vintage video, Hats Off to Tarot. I do this rapid fire question at the beginning to get to know my guest. And I think Julie has already done this tag.
Yes, in a VR. I forget which one it was, but
it was like the rapid fire on
and,
something.
It was Actor Studio.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You have done it. But for those who are here right now, why don't we start that off? So it's kind of like an icebreaker. So we are going to do the rapid fire again. You don't have to stick with the same answer that you have done.
My answers will be the same because I did that with rapid fire before. I'm like, well, I'll have to compare them and see what I say.
Exactly. We'll see if it's the same.
Right.
So, Julianne, are you ready for the rapid fire?
Go for it.
All right. Question number 1. What's your sign?
Leo. Leo sun, Pisces moon.
All right. What is your Chinese horoscope?
Wood tiger.
Wood tiger. Okay. If you have an animal spirit, which one you most connected to?
Bear and wolf.
Bear and wolf. Okay, girl. Favorite color?
Indigo.
Indigo. Favorite food?
Indian.
Okay, Indian food. Lovely, lovely.
Trying to be rapid.
Where are you from? Oh, the I. Indigo, India.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
San Francisco, California.
San Francisco, California. Where are you living now?
Santa Barbara, California.
Still in the California. Do you have any pet peeves?
I know in the VR I said ingrates. So I'll stick with that. People who like want more, and you're like, I'm giving you all this free stuff, you know.
All right, all right. Coffee or tea?
Both.
Both.
Good
answer.
Coffee.
All right. Okay. What is the latest deck you have purchased?
The Lightseers tarot.
Oh my God, the Lightseer.
I got in that when she reopened the shopping cart or whatever you want to call it. And I got in and I had the deck, but I was completing my deck. And so I didn't open it until yesterday.
Okay.
It's sitting there, but that's the most recent one.
Have you done a video on it yet?
No, not yet.
Are you going to do one?
I don't know. Maybe. I hadn't decided.
If you do, I got my package also, and
well, yeah, because you said that was in your live on Friday.
Yeah.
So
there's so many video out there, and also there's other people that haven't got it, and I feel kind of guilty. Like, I don't want to, like, here's my deck,
Right. Yeah. I don't know, because it is a deck that has a lot of videos out there. I might include it in like a video where I do like, these are my, like I just did like my witchy decks. I don't consider that a witchy one, but if I do a video like that, like it's a collection of decks, I might include it then.
Okay, so it's not just going to be a walkthrough. You have some kind of...
Yeah, because I think there's so many out there that,
True, very true, very true.
Yes.
Since we are talking about... actually, do this one. Let's do another fun game right now. Okay. It seems like when I was doing the research on the amazing Julianne Victoria, I've noticed that she has done so much. She has now 4 decks, right?
Yes, 4 decks.
4 decks. She has created 4 decks, and then she has 1, 2, 3, 4 books or 5 books. Or 6.
I put them out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that are not deck related.
6 books that are not deck related.
Big books and some don't. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. Would you like to see them all?
Not yet. Not yet. We're going to save that for the meat of this interview. Okay. Another fun game. You have 60 seconds.
Okay.
You have 60 seconds to tell your whole life from the beginning till now.
60. Are you keeping the clock?
I'm keeping the clock.
Okay, 60.
And you have 60 seconds. You have 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I was born in San Francisco, California in the 70s, and I felt very connected to the land. My family on my mom's side was there for 5 generations. There's still a family home. I moved to Seattle after college, did graduate school there, lived there for 15 years, moved back to San Francisco, went into the underworld, took care of parents who were ailing or dying, and then moved to Santa Barbara. How much time do I have left?
You have 30 seconds.
And then, and then not long after I moved here, I met the person who would be my husband. And then a year later, we got married. A year later, we had our baby. She's been the joy of my life. She's my I call her my moon baby because we have conjoined moons in Pisces. And anyone who knows astrology knows that's a very, very deep connection. And now I'm very busy working from home, watching a 2-year-old run around.
All right. Under 60 seconds, girl. You got it done. Bonus point if you have to give that title of your autobiography, that 60-second autobiography, what would be your title of that book?
Oh, probably Journey of the Wounded Healer.
Journey of the
Wounded Healer.
Wound.
So I say that because that has been a potential title for I guess it's a memoir, but a book of my story.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think that won't be the title now, but for now, that could be a title of my life story.
Oh my God, how poetic. Healer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I still might use that as a chapter title or a theme because there's a lot of Chiron symbolism, and Chiron's the wounded healer in Greek mythology. So that's another project I'm working on.
Y'all, can you believe? I mean, I cannot even deal with just this YouTube channel. And you have all this amazing stuff.
Well, and you do so much. You do all that editing, and which is awesome. I love it. It's entertaining, but that takes so much time.
It does take a lot of time. I do enjoy it. I
rarely do any editing unless I have to stop the video for whatever reason and come back to it, and that's not much editing anyway.
Gotcha.
Splicing things together. Yeah.
Cool. So you have so many jobs, so many titles, you know, healer, content creator, tarot reader, counselor. Walk me through, how do you start your day, and walk me through your gorgeous day.
My gorgeous day is probably not as gorgeous as you think it is. So most days I get up between 4 and 5. Yes. So I have my alarm set for 4:44.
Okay.
Because that's a good number.
Oh
but I often wake up before it, like 4:30.
Okay.
And I do that because I want time for me before baby wakes up. Well, she's a toddler now, so before mini me wakes up. And so I get up, I make coffee or tea, I sit down, I do my daily spread or other spreads, write in my dream journal, work on a little work. Just depends on what I'm feeling like doing that morning. I usually watch some YouTube videos then while I'm having my coffee or tea, catch up on things, check my emails. I get business done too, respond to comments, scan through Facebook. Lately it's been, where can I plug my deck creations, you know?
The new one? Yeah. Which word?
Get the word out. I'm not good with self-promotion and marketing.
Sure.
So I just have to make sure I do a little bit every day, because that could be a full-time job in itself. So anyway, so that's early. So I'm thinking weekdays here. So then mini me wakes up usually 6:30-ish or so, between 6 and 7, but usually 6:30. And I get her up. Daddy gets up then. He gets ready for work. I give her milk. She plays a while. When Daddy's out of the shower, he has breakfast with her. And then I get ready for the day. And then usually, you know, he leaves for work around 7. And most days, not every day, I have 3 dogs, 3 large dogs. And with the baby stroller, I have to walk them one at a time. So I do 3 dog walks.
Oh, no.
Yes. So I get my exercise in, 3 dog walks.
What kind of dogs are they?
So 2 are Alaskan Malamutes. So
okay, they are big.
Dogs, wolves. Those are my wolves.
Yep.
And the other one is a mix of a lot of things. We did a DNA test, but he's mostly Chow. He looks very German Shepherd-y, like short-haired German Shepherd. He has some of that in him, and Rottweiler. Mm-hmm. So he's the smallest. He's only like 60 pounds. The other 2 are like 90 pounds. Yeah. So they get their exercise, and it's kind of good that I walk them one at a time, because they get one-on-one time, which is really hard to do.
Nice. Yeah.
Baby or mini me. So I'm done with that around 8:30-ish or so in the mornings. Baby has more milk, or mini me has more milk, and then I maybe get some work done, or we play. It depends on what she's doing, if she's occupied, or I take her around from room to room, or I like watch while she's climbing on the furniture. She's getting really good at climbing, though.
How old is she?
What's that?
How old?
She's 2. She just turned 2.
Cool.
And so the rest of the morning, if I can get a little work done on the computer, like designing cards or writing. Some days I can't focus. So then sometimes I'll just listen to video, but I don't want to always have the computer on with her too. So I might just play with her, or I'll read, while she's playing. It just depends on what we're doing. And then sometimes we'll go for a walk, or there's a park down the street. We'll go down there. And then she's usually down for her nap after lunch, like at around noon, or it's really second breakfast. And then, and then nap time is like, go. I get as much work done then as I can. If I have email client readings, I'll get them done, tarot or astrology. Those are usually short ones. And then I'll work on a project, a deck or a book or something else, maybe get some chores done. Sometimes I do chores with her in the morning. She's really good with that, actually. So that helps me out. And she'll nap anywhere from 45 minutes to 2.5 hours. So okay. It just depends on how much I can get done in that time. And if I'm really tired and not feeling motivated, then that might be when I catch up on some YouTube videos or this and that. And then she wakes up, and then we have actual lunch. So lunch is like 2-ish usually. And that she's on my schedule, where I have breakfast, and then I have second breakfast, and then I have lunch, and then dinner. Like 4 meals a day is actually works really well for me. And then we play. If I can read, then that's great, while she's playing, or, because she's really good playing by herself, which is awesome. But sometimes like I need to watch her because she's like trying to climb on things, or, as she's doing more and more, getting into things. There was a while there where she was like petting the dogs really hard.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, bam, bam. And that was like a couple of weeks of like, I couldn't do much of anything, because I had to like make sure she wasn't like hurting the dogs. And then I would want them to react and hurt her, which I don't think they would, but it's normal to react that way. So yeah, so that's my day. And I start making dinner around 5. I kind of slow make dinner because sometimes I have to stop in the middle of it and chase her around or stop her from doing something or whatever. And then my husband gets home 6:15, and we have dinner, and then she's his for the evening. And that's when I can get some more work done.
Wow. And
so I might do a client reading. So usually only 2 evenings a week, I'll schedule a client at 7:00.
And are they live or just?
They would be live, like Skype or FaceTime. Actually, the evening ones tend to be live ones because that works with people's schedules. But if I have a recording to do, I might do a recording. And I just recently did a past life reading special. I usually do specials like at the solstices and equinoxes. Sometimes cross quarter, just depends on how busy I am. And so I did a past life reading special. And so when I do that, I'm like, I've got like a list of like 30 readings to do on top of everything else. And I designed them so they're not so long. So the last couple of weeks, every evening I was recording at least a couple of those. So I could just keep up on it. So I'm resting today. Today's actually a rest day. We're doing no client readings because I'm like, okay, I need a day off. And so, yeah, I might do recordings, but sometimes I'll schedule clients, usually no more than 2 evenings a week, because then we have math night and family time, right? I need family time too, and all sorts of stuff like that. And I'm usually in bed. I'm usually asleep by 9.
Okay.
So that's a typical weekday. Weekends is when I get a lot of my client work done.
Okay.
Not all day long on Saturday and Sunday, because again, there's still family time and we got to run errands and this and that, but I get a lot of it in then too. And then whenever I have time to write or work on a deck, because I actually have 3 other ones, either outlined or ready to start designing. Sure. I get that in when I can. So
that's amazing. How did they get in contact with you for reading? Through your website?
My website. So just juliannevictoria.com. There's a contact form. And that goes right to my email, or my email is juliannevictoria@live.com. It just all goes through the same email. So sometimes people email me and then use the contact form with the same message. I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just whichever is easier for you. Yeah. So that's the easiest.
When did you start doing this professionally?
I believe it was 2006. Like winter, springtime. I started doing tarot readings and Vedic astrology then. And I didn't actually add in Western astrology for a few years after that, I did an occasional reading, but I had a hard time wrapping my brain around the uneven house sizes in Western astrology.
Okay.
So, like, you can have, so in Vedic astrology, the houses are whole signs. So, like, your first house could be Sagittarius, second house is Capricorn, where in Western astrology, your ascendant can be in Sagittarius. But so, like, for example, in my chart in Western, the ascendant is in Sagittarius near the end, but nearly all of Capricorn is in my first house. So I had a hard time wrapping my brain around that, and like, how do you blend the energies of those two signs? And some astrologers don't at all. They just go with the what sign the house starts in. But I find that, you know, with that example, with like 29 degrees of Capricorn are in my first house, though I'm a Sagittarius ascendant, that Capricorn energy is very significant for me. So I can't just ignore that. So it took me a while of like extra Western study to really like wrap my brain around that concept. And then, you know, adding in the asteroids, it's its own very rich system in a very different way from Vedic.
Are you still learning?
Yes, I'll be studying and learning forever.
Right.
Arabic astrology, and I want to dig deeper into evolutionary astrology, which really focuses on Pluto a lot. Pluto's generational. Yeah, I always say I'll be studying forever for several lifetimes. You know, I'd love to study Chinese astrology more, because I grew up, you know, Western astrology, just reading like horoscopes in the back of magazines, you know, your sun sign horoscope and stuff, and in the newspaper. And then some Chinese astrology, because I went to a high school that was like 80% Asian. So like, you know, knew a little bit of it there. So there's more to learn, and as I create more, I learn more at the same time.
That is inspirational. That is truly inspirational. I mean, like, keep on learning though. Like, I was nodding my head like, I understand what you're saying. I have still no.
There's so much to learn. Like, how can you, like, you'll never run out of stuff to study for hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. Like, there's always more and different takes on things and different perspectives on things. And even though, like with astrology, it's like, okay, Aries means this, Taurus, you can read it very scientifically and linearly, but then there's all the nuances and, you know, the intuitive reading on it. And then like, I'll read an article by another astrologer and it's like, oh, wow, that's a whole new perspective on, you know, that planet or that asteroid. And it's like, okay, that kind of opens things up for me. Not that I necessarily take that perspective, but it's like, oh, I need to look at this differently. And then I might do some research on it or pull out a book I read years ago and like reread something and be like, oh, wow, I get something totally different out of that now. And it's the same with tarot cards and oracle cards. I mean, there's just layers and layers and layers that you can like use those tools. Not just for like studying them academically, but like it teaches you about yourself and life and other people. And
so a constant student, a constant learner.
Yes,
that's exactly. Brilliant. That's brilliant. When I want to know, like, when and what was your first kind of like spiritual awakening moment? This sounds so vague, spiritual awakening, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have an annoying answer.
Annoy us both. There's 21 right here. Please annoy us.
I don't have one. I don't. Okay. There wasn't like this one moment in my life where I was like, oh, spirit, the universe. Like I never, you know, I have to say I was born that way.
Sure.
Which, that annoys a lot of people, but it's like from very early on, I was very spiritual. You could say religious, but I was always like, you know, I remember when I was like 3 years old, asking my dad, like, if God created everything, who created God? Right. All these questions. And I went for my elementary school, we went to Catholic school. And so you could say I was raised Catholic, but we didn't have like this super Catholic home life, right? But being in that religious environment was perfect for me because I got to pray. which to me is very similar to meditation. I got to explore the spiritual life world. It was through a specific religion, but it wasn't so like closed off to other religions either.
Sure.
So it wasn't a very extremist, like some people have very difficult Catholic upbringing and families and so on. I didn't have that. It was very loving and accepting. It was very much practiced the teachings of Jesus, which we studied and learned. And I actually, I probably was considered one of like the holiest kids in school. That's funny. Like I always prayed like this. And I did that because all the statues of Mary were like this.
Were like that. Yeah.
You pray like this. This is how you pray. And, I had like in church, because we would go to church sometimes during school and like we would do readings at mass and stuff. And I would have profound, like, they weren't awakenings, but like I would have like break out in sweats in church and just like shivers. Like it was very spiritually like meaningful to me as a child. And I don't feel like it had, I knew then it wasn't because of that religion. It's because the spiritual experience.
Because
so I can't say I had like an awakening and I changed my life from one way or the other. It's just kind of how I've always been.
So it just gradually kind of lead you to where you are right now. It's not like, I must study tarot. I must study Buddhism, and then lead you here.
No, and it's interesting. I remember when I was a little girl, I think I was about 10, because at that point I had my own room. Like I always can see myself when I go back to memories, like where was I?
That's amazing.
So I remember I questioned, I don't know if I was asking myself or asking God. I remember asking, am I supposed to be a nun or something?
Okay.
Only because I knew my spiritual direction, basically. I mean, not the details, but I knew that was my path. And I knew I was here to help people somehow. And that's what I do with my work. And I remember thinking like, nah, I think I'm supposed to like get married and have a kid or something. So I was like, no, that's not right. But I didn't know like what other route, at 10 years old, like to be on the spiritual path. So I just did what I did. And then it's interesting because in college, and I think I write this on my website, my Peacock's Eyes, my blog website.
Sure.
I think I say it there, but my freshman year of college, it was like finals time. And I think it was spring quarter, because I went to UC Davis and it's like 100+ degrees by the time June comes around. I remember it was so hot and I was walking to like my last final and I was thinking, like, I just had this strong thought like, oh, it would be so cool to be an astrologer. And then I thought, well, I don't know how you do that. So I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and see what happens. And my first degree was in classics. So I studied Latin, Greek, the Greek and Roman mythology, a little bit of Egyptian. Like it was like a perfect foundation to study astrology. Like, so it's funny, like there are these little moments where it's like questioning, okay, how do I just follow the path? And I always conclude, well, just do what you're doing and it will get there somehow. Yeah.
Were you ever, sure, like, every step of the way, there's some kind of sign or acknowledgement that you're on the right path. Have you ever get extremely nervous or scared, like, how will I make this work though? Because in this society construct, it's a little bit, scary to do this work.
So you mean like reading tarot?
Being.
So, so I have to backtrack on. So when I moved to Seattle, Washington, I was going to grad school at the University of Washington studying historical linguistics because I love languages.
Okay.
Historical because I like archaeology as well. And I really thought I was going to be on that path. But after like a year and a half, I just felt like, this isn't really what I'm supposed to be doing. I still felt like studying languages was important and it's really helpful with all I do. you know, to study and research and learn things. But I just felt like, okay, I don't know if this is right for me. And then I had a series of dreams where these bears, and they were always black bears, were following me walking to work. Because I've always worked when I've been in school. So, I was always really, but they were following me, looking for me. I didn't feel like they were like hunting me, like they're going to come and eat me or anything. But it was like, it was frightening. I was like, why are these bears following me? There's nothing in my life that had to do with bears. And I think it occurred almost the whole time I was in grad school. And then one time, because I was so not on the internet then, like checked my school email and that was about it. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll look it up online. Wow. And I looked up the meaning of bears. And it's funny because now I know so much more about bear symbolism, but the only thing that I saw that struck me, or maybe it was the only thing I read, was that bears were guides for healers.
Okay.
At the same time, so I was always an athlete too. So I ran cross country and track in college, and I was still a runner. I was running competitively. I was never elite, but I could win road races and stuff like that. And I had been, I'd started getting massage therapy, to help. And I had it in my mind, oh, maybe I'll, because I wasn't so happy with grad school, like maybe I'll switch course and do something like that, like work with athletes or, something like that.
Sure.
And I also noticed at the same time, my mom used to call me Dr. Julie.
Okay, Dr. Julie.
Ask me for like, what do I do for this for my ankle? And I would tell her. So, and I hadn't studied medicine or anything, but like I'm always learning stuff, right? And so after discovering, bears were guides for healers, and I was like, I think they're trying, they're following me because they're kind of trying to steer me in a different direction. And as soon as I realized that, those dreams stopped. They never came back. And so I decided to quit grad school. And good thing it was before I was too massively in debt. And and I went to massage school. And I learned, massage therapy. We learned some Reiki, polarity, like a lot of the energy work. It was a 1-year program, so it was very intensive. And then, over the years, I took a lot of continuing ed and structural integration and, reflexology, all sorts of stuff, shiatsu. And so that led me on the path of a healer. So this is a long story, but I'll get to it. How it gets to tarot and astrology. So because I had a strong connection to the running and the athletic community in Seattle, it was very easy for me to start up my healing practice. I knew, a ton of people. I worked in a running store while I was in school. And so I really easily built up a practice. And so from like 2001 to 2012, healing and massage therapy was like my main source of income. Like I had my own private practice. It was great. It was thriving, paid my bills. Awesome. And then, so when I added in tarot and astrology in 2006, I just marketed to my own clients mostly. I might tell a friend. So that was sort of like added on to all of that. And then in 2012, I closed down shop, sold my home for nothing because of the market, and moved back to San Francisco.
Okay.
So this kind of gets to your question, like, how do you do it when like things seem bleak, basically? Like how, like when you're like in this 9-to-5 society. So I moved. So there's many layers to this, but I'm just going to sum it up this way. Number one, I needed sunshine and vitamin D.
Okay.
This was not getting enough, just not enough sunshine in Seattle, basically. That's kind of the superficial reason. Like I had low vitamin D with vitamin D supplements, and I just felt like it's time to go. It's time to go.
Sure.
And then there's a layer of, I felt I was being called by my ancestors. and it was much deeper than that. It was like this is the deep dive into the underworld, going back home. I was hoping, I knew I'd have to move back with my parents to do this. And I was hoping it would only be a few months. It ended up being a few years.
Okay.
Had I known that, I don't think I was supposed to know that, because I would have hesitated, but I knew my life in Seattle, like clients were moving away, like things were clearing out. And it was sort of like saying, this is time to go. It's time to go. And so I moved back to San Francisco, and my mom had Alzheimer's. I ended up being her caretaker. She passed away a couple of years after that, approximately. And then as soon as she passed, like 2 months later, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. He's still alive, but then I ended up having to take him to all his appointments and all this stuff. So that was going on the surface while I was like diving into ancestral healing, shadow work, mommy daddy issues, all sorts of psychological stuff. So there I am with the move. My idea was, okay, I'm going to focus more on, so I have to backtrack one more thing. So I notice a lot with my massage and healing clients that I felt like they came more for the conversation, the guidance, rather than the healing, although I'm sure it was both. And so that, when I moved, I said, I want to shift the focus. If I move and just like try to do massage therapy, which I couldn't work anyway, you can't work watching someone with Alzheimer's. Just an occasional reading here and there from clients in Seattle. I wanted to shift. It was an opportunity to shift the focus into spiritual counseling, or life coaching. So like in Seattle, I was a registered counselor, but you can't use that in California. Like, it's just the legal stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I call myself. You can hear baby. She's yelling out her window, and it's next to this window. So there I am, feeling stuck and trapped, doing caretaking I didn't want to do. My mother hated that I was the one caretaking for her. And Alzheimer's brings out people's demons. Like, every day is different. I'm struggling every single day, but staying calm. I was saying mantras and prayers like constantly. And I'm like, it'll change, it'll get better. And I did, I made little flyers. I was like, if I can do a reading here and there, start building a practice. Though my plan wasn't to stay there and live there in San Francisco. It's way too expensive. And although I love the city, it's in my blood, 5 generations. And I think I have ancestral energy there with the natives, as Native Americans too. But anyway, so it was 3 years of how am I going to build a business, a practice when I have almost no time to work? I'm struggling tremendously because I'm dissolving in the cocoon there. But I still have to function. I have my dogs, and I moved with 3 cats, and then one moved in with neighbors because she didn't like my dog. She was a stray I took in, but anyway. So my 2 dogs and my 2 cats, I have to take care of them. I have to somehow take care of my mom. My dad wasn't good at watching my mom when he was watching her. So I had to watch him watch her because she tried to leave the house. How do I do this? And it was just teeny bit by teeny bit. And I was just I hope this doesn't last 10 years. I was just and
it works somehow.
It works somehow, it's slowly, okay, a little client here, a little client there. I was doing some freelance writing work as well. Whatever little bit I could do,
You are a fighter. You are a fighter. You are a survivor.
Yeah. So it was really, really difficult.
You're a Leo, right?
A Leo sun. Yeah. Anyway, so after my mom passed away, I thought, oh, okay, I could work more. And I had actually started doing massage therapy around the corner, which was actually good. So not long before she passed away, my dad said to me, okay, or I said to my dad, I was like, I'm running out of money. I need to work more, which was a huge thing for me to put my foot down and set my boundaries, because I didn't. I let him dump everything on me. It was so difficult. I didn't ask. Nothing. It was just dump it all on me because I happened to be there. So, needless to say, there aren't healthy dynamics there. But anyway, so when she passed away, I thought, oh, okay, I've been working a little more. I'm saving a little money now. Because I guess the positive side was I didn't have rent or a mortgage, right?
Right.
So once I wasn't like just losing money just to feed myself and the dogs, like, okay, now I can actually save money. And then my dad got diagnosed with cancer. And I just thought, I guess I'm not supposed to go anywhere yet. So I was like, okay, this is fine. And it was another year caretaking, but I was working. I was doing, like, it was very small. It was an awesome place just around the corner. Couldn't have been more perfect. Chiropractor's office, like 6 to 8 hours a week. I could save all that money and start building my practice. And by then I had started on YouTube, right?
Right.
And it was actually in late 2013, I just kept thinking, okay, what can I do to reach more people? Like massage therapy. Okay, those clients may come once a week, twice a month, or once a month. Like, they'll come regularly. It's like, I don't want people to come for a tarot reading once a week or once a month. They need to do their work. Like, if people are like do more than 3 readings in a row, I stop them and I tell them, you need to work on this for a while. Don't come back. I'm not into like predicting your day-to-day schedule for you. I'm not interested in that, because that's relying on someone else to live your life for you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to reach more people. I need to have a broader reach. And I want to be like pretty business savvy, but it was like different. Okay, now I have to be business savvy, not where I am, right? I have to reach out on the internet. And I still like didn't watch any YouTube at this time. Like, but I'm like, and I just kept asking, because I'm doing mantras and prayers like constantly, because I'm like still I'm really struggling at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I need to do? And I just kept hearing, start making videos, start making videos, start making videos. And I was just like, my Pisces moon is like, no, I don't want to continue. Like, I think I don't know if you know Diane Jarecki, Indigo Moon Woman. I don't know if she's here. I can't follow this while I'm talking. But like Leo Sun, it's a smaller screen. Leo Sun and Pisces Moon. It's a pendulum swing. Leo shines and Pisces moon likes to hide at the bottom of the deep ocean trenches. So it's like, I have to wait till I'm in that middle point, and then I flow.
Gotcha.
If I'm at if the pendulum's at one of the extremes, I have to just listen to that and wait till I'm like more in the middle, and then it's like that spurt of creativity comes out, like it all flows.
Gotcha.
So
that was one of the reasons that you started the YouTube channel.
Because spirit told me, and it's not like a spirit with a name in my ear. It's like I just kept like make videos. So sometime in 2014, early 2014, I was like, okay, I'll do a week. I'd been doing like a Tarot Tuesday on my blog, and I was like, maybe I'll start with that. And so I was like, I'll make a video one. And I think in my early videos, like the first few, like I'm like, no expression. I'm like, what do I do on camera? I think they're all still up. I didn't take any old ones down. So
everybody is gonna go back to your channel.
Really, really early on. Then I was like, well, I'm just gonna do a weekly instead of like a monthly Tarot Tuesday, and then it grew from there. And so because of that, as I was working more, okay, I'm online more, and that's an adjustment for me. Like the more I do online, like, because personally, like, if let's say I did something completely differently, I probably wouldn't be online at all. That's the Pisces moon side, where it's like, no, just privacy. So it just built and built and built. And then my dad finished his treatment. He was cleared of cancer. And all of a sudden I was like, I have enough saved up, I can move. And I was like, where do I want to go? And I had been researching, I'd done a few little like day trips with the dogs. I was looking at in like Northern California, like San Rafael area. And then I think that was like my top choice for a while. And I think it was my top choice for a while because like, I could move there, have my own place, and still be able to drive into the city and help my dad out. But he was doing fine. And I was like, okay, where should I go? Where should I go? And it's like funny because around this time I'd be walking the dogs and I'd find playing cards on the street, random different spots.
Yeah.
And at this time when I'm like thinking about that question, I found a Joker card, which is like the Fool.
Of course.
It was like, you just need to pick a place and go. There isn't one, you know, I was like, do I know someone, you know, something to connect me somewhere? But it was like the Joker. It's wild.
Yeah.
Pick a place and go. So I was like, okay, what place has all the things I would want? The beach or the ocean, mountain trails or trails to hike the dogs. Not too big, not too small. And, you know, Santa Barbara area is one of the places I'd done a little road trip and checked out. And the reason I took like the San Rafael Marin area or like north of that off my list was because it's national parks versus national forests. So dogs are allowed in national forests.
Okay.
And they're not always allowed in parks.
Parks, yeah.
And I thought, okay, Santa Barbara's it. And I was like, I need to just, what's on the top of my list? And I'm going to just pick that place and I'm going to go. And so this was, you know, like fall 2015. And I made another trip down here for a weekend to check it out. And I was like, yeah, I like it. And I was like, I'm going to move there. And then I was like, okay, I need to go down for another trip and find a place to live. And I came down. It was Thanksgiving week. No, it was November. It was early November or something. No, I think it was Thanksgiving weekend, 2015. I came here, maybe the weekend before. That makes more sense. But I drove down. I'd been looking on like Craigslist at like places. And so I have 2 dogs and a cat at this point, 1 cat. And I need to find a place to live with animals. That's hard enough as it is. I have a lot of animals. I have big animals. I'm self-employed, you know. Because I owned a home in Seattle, like I have no rental history. You know, like I was a homeowner, and then like in my parents' home, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this happen. And then I was like, you know, I'm an astrologer, and I do this for other people, and astrology is all about time. And I was like, this was before I went down around Thanksgiving time. I was like, what's a good weekend to go? And I said, that's a good weekend. I'm going to go then. I'm going to somehow find a place to live. I had one connection before I left. I stayed in the same little Airbnb tiny home I stayed in the previous trip because it was great. Little yard for the dogs. So they were with me everywhere. And I found a place to live. It was just up on the pass. Like it was 10 minutes from downtown, but it was in the forest. It was in the mountains. And I rented basically half a house, very affordable, and everything just kept growing from there because I was just coming out of the cocoon. I was not a butterfly flying. I was still coming out of the cocoon, but I had my own space, so needed. It was like I needed recovery time. Really did. And the mountain air, it's not like that. It's like 4,000 feet, but the mountain air was really nice. You know, it's like the pass is 4,000. I think it was at 2,000 feet. So not super high, but it was just nice. And I could actually see the ocean. I had this beautiful view from my bedroom window. Like it was just what I needed to recover. But I was also like, as soon as I moved, like business got busy. And that happens. Like once you clear the space for something, it fills in. And that's a scary thing. That's a very, like people out there trying to start a tarot business. Like
I'm writing this down right now.
Space. Like you can still have, you know, another job, you know, whatever you need to pay the bills. But if you don't have that space for that thing, it's not going to fill in.
Once you clear the space.
Yeah. And then it just grew more and more. Even though, you know, I'd been doing like, there was an awesome coffee shop in San Francisco and I would do some tarot, you know, when I was still there, once in a while I would do some tarot readings there, and the owner, she would like refer people to me. So it was like slowly, you know, a little reading here, a little reading there. But like once I moved here to Santa Barbara, it's like, boom, doing readings like, not every day, but like 5 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week, and just growing. But I had already built my foundation.
That's amazing.
And the foundation was there. And then I had the space, and then it just started to flow in. And then I was meeting neighbors, and they were getting a reading, and a few neighbors I was doing like massage therapy for. Like I wasn't expecting that, but I was like, sure, you know, I'm a healer, let's do it, you know. And I started I think before I left San Francisco, I started doing my distance Reiki healing, which I love. My Reiki and shamanic healing sessions, like the client doesn't have to do a thing. I tell them when I'm doing it, like 45 minutes to an hour or something. And I send them an email, my observations, and I get like these sometimes really interesting visions. Sometimes I just kind of see their energy. Those like blow me away. Like what comes, it's still me.
I cannot. I'm going to save up some money. I'm gonna gonna email you. I want so many reading from you. I'm interested in the astrology chart because I never have one done because I never know what time I was born. My mother refused to tell me what time I was born.
You got to find out because when we talked and I briefly looked at what signs the planets were in. The thing is, we don't know what houses. We can still do a sun chart. You have a lot of Capricorn energy. And I think your sun is actually at like probably 29 degrees Capricorn, but that's
whatever that means. That will be a private conversation. You guys are not going to watch it right now. Okay. So
I want to point out in like a few hours, the moon is going from Capricorn to Aquarius. So we're on the cusp right now of Capricorn and Aquarius with the moon.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it. You have heard it from the expert. It is the season of On the Cusp. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe. Boop.
Okay. I was looking at that. I was like, oh, the moon is perfect for this. Yeah.
Okay. Before we run out of time, we might go over. I don't care.
You can go over. That's fine. Yeah.
But I want to make sure to talk about your newest deck. Oh my goodness. So the timing was just right. I was like, trying to schedule everything and it's perfect. Please talk about, I don't know, I am horrible with pronunciation, but I'm right anyway.
So I studied Latin. And this is saying it's sort of medieval Latin, Sigilla Medievalia.
Sigilla Medievalia.
Or the Medieval Sigils Tarot. That's the translation.
Voila. So the floor is yours.
So comes in a tuck box. It's poker size. I don't know if I said that in my video, but if you go to order it, it says it there.
Hold on a second. So you have four decks. You have the Oracle of the Fool.
Yes, Oracle of the Fool. Here, my table is covered. Oracle of the Fool,
which is a 44 card stack, right?
Yeah, so it's actually a 20, like 2 copies of 22. So there's 22 cards with the keywords and 22 without.
Okay.
And that's so you can choose which one you want to use because it's like for journaling, kind of for path working actually, or you can mix them together.
Amazing. And then you have the Children's Tarot, which is a 22 cards, right?
Yes, it's a majors only deck, which I think is plenty for kids.
Oh, it's so cute. And then you have the Fine Lines Meditation for Intentional Living.
Yes, Fine Lines, that's the deck. I have a monstrous workbook for it. Yes. And also a journal, but that's just a blank journal. But if you want a matching journal, it's there.
And then now this deck.
Now, I have the Medieval Sigils Tarot. Okay, so I'll move some stuff out of the way now. So it comes with a little white book. It mostly goes into its creation, but this is a sigil deck. So I made it, I wanted to make an abstract tarot deck. And I came up with the idea like, sigils. That's perfect. Using the astrological, the elemental, and keyword associations.
Sigil is symbol. What is sigil?
Sigil means symbol.
Symbol, okay.
Symbol, a sign. That's the Latin. I think I say that in the little book too. It's just a sign.
Sure.
A specific sign. So like medieval kings, like they put like the wax stamp on things. Those are like the king's sigils. And it would be like the letters of their name combined together to look like something totally different.
Sure.
In magic sigils are like there's different ways to do it, but the most common is like you have a sentence of your wish or your intention or your spell, and you take like the consonants out and you make a sigil out of that. So it's just a very specific symbol that's created to represent something.
Okay.
So I made these sigils to represent the essence of each of the tarot cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a
like writing out like keywords, and I looked up like, okay, what are Atea's associations? I know the Golden Dawn, I know the Thoth or Crowley associations, and like, do they match? Do I agree with them? Because I put in my experience too, because it's like, you know, most of it aligned with it.
Sure.
But it's like, okay, what is the essence of what this card, I'll say means, but really what does the card feel like?
Okay.
Because we're going abstract, so we're getting into the subconscious. Like, what do you feel? So this is the Fool card. Beautiful. What do you feel when you look at this?
Sure.
Are you pulled somewhere? Does a memory pop up? Does a icky feeling come up? You know, like that's your answer. So it's like a tool to read intuitively.
Nice.
Now you can, I mean, you'll be like, oh, that's the Fool. Okay, so that's like leap of faith. Like, so that will pop in too. Sure. But, you know, it's just like any other tarot deck. You pull a card. Let's say you pull a tradition, like a Rider-Waite-Smith Fool. And what's the first word that pops into your head? Okay, that's your essence for the card. And then what are you drawn to in the image? What does it make you feel? What does it make you think? You know, what sensations do you get? Do you get physical sensations? Like when I see this, I'm gonna, camera's opposite. Okay, I want to go right through the middle. You know, I want to go right through the open window.
And all I see is all the sparky things.
You see the sparky, so that's your more intuitive read on it. And it will be different next week, next month.
Oh, this is so amazing. I cannot wait to get this card.
So they're just like, you know, I wanted it to like, okay, you know, what's medieval? I'm like parchment paper, right? You know, so it's like, it's just like pieces of parchment paper.
Beautiful.
I did so much. I probably spent more time on this than anything else. I did so much research on cardstock, like getting samples from this and that. And I'm like, no, it's like, I wanted something parchmenty. Just, you know, like Il Meneghello decks, Il Meneghello. Those Italian ones that's like on art paper. I couldn't find a printer in the US or ones that sourced out that had that available. I think you'll have to like print it in Italy or something. And I couldn't find the print. Like, I was just like, okay, this is like, I spent so much time and people were great sending samples and stuff, but I was like, couldn't find exactly what I wanted, because I thought I would print on that and get the texture I wanted. And then I thought maybe I could print them at home and it could be totally handmade. But like, I would have to buy some expensive printer to hold the cardstock and it wasn't going to work. And then I was like, what if I paint on parchment? Because these are hand painted. They're all hand painted. After I'd drawn them out like probably dozens of times each and changed them and gone back. If I did it on parchment, could I scan it? And the parchment doesn't show, you know, picture won't show. Like I did like all this sort of tech detail figuring out. And then I found out, because I already had my Oracle decks on Game Crafter, that they upped their cardstock. So it's actually really nice. The screen's smaller. Really nice cardstock. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with that.
So it's over at the Game Crafter.
Yeah. So they have, and all my decks actually have the new cardstock, and they didn't charge anymore. So the prices didn't have to go up. So I was like, cool. And it has the linen finish. It's very subtle, but you can see it. And that's kind of what I wanted. Just a little parchmenty sort of look to it. And I haven't ruled out someday, like doing a second edition where I have like a shop. It's just with a 2-year-old and 3 large dogs to have like all those boxes and the boxes of packing materials and the boxes of boxes, like there would be no space to walk around. So I'm like, it's not possible for me to do that right now, but maybe someday. And then I might, I don't know, who knows? I would, you know, it's like to find like or I have considered, actually, I was thinking this yesterday, like doing a limited edition of fine art paper.
Okay.
All this on that to get that parchment like texture, like real parchment, like skin, not
Right. Yeah.
parchment, right? Just a thought I had in my head, like, what if I did this and I did like 100 of them?
Maybe.
Who knows? We'll see if there's interest in it. But I just launched it, so let's let this.
Let this baby.
And then, yeah, we'll see if I kind of do like the fancy edition or something.
Fancy edition. I can't wait. So I have listed all the information about this deck in the description. Go there, check it out. If you love it, order it. Amazing. So it's 1 hour right now. I do see people here. I want to open up this. This is live. That's the fun live, right? I want to open up the chat, the room, this interview to the room. If you have any like desperate question you want to ask, Julie, please comment right now in the chat, and I will pop your question up, and then Julie will answer your question. Yes. So, I mean, this hour has been extremely inspirational.
Oh, thank you.
Just hearing like the idea of clearing the space. Once you clear the space, things will drop in. It's like, hello, duh. It's such a moment.
Well, it was scary, moving, because I was like, okay, I'm not going to have my massage work, even though it's just a few hours, but it is good money, right? Get that gone. And I was seeing clients and, tarot clients in person in San Francisco. Okay, well, it's always like, well, they still want readings distance. Mm-hmm. And some of them have. And it's like, okay, so now I'm going somewhere where I know absolutely nobody. Mm-hmm. Nobody. And I'm just going to go and do it. And I did. So, yeah, it was scary, though. I'm trying to...
I wonder how the 10-second or 20-second delay for them. So I just open up to the room. Any question, whatever they want to ask. Do I have any question for you personally? I have a couple questions, but that will be a long answer. I don't want this live to be 6 hours.
Any question? Is that possible?
Any question? You have an online tarot class also, right?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So you can go to my website, so juliannevictoria.com, and like one of the menu things is like decks, books, and courses, and it's one of those, and just click the picture for that. But also my other website, my blog website, peacockseyes.com, on the like right-hand column, it says tarot course. Mm-hmm. It's like white peacock feathers. It all connects. So it's like two websites, but I interconnected them. I just didn't want to move the blog over because a lot of people have issues, like they lose things. So I was like, made a way to keep them both.
I see one comment.
So Pepper. Oh yeah. Exactly. I was reading the same one. Yeah. Thank you. It was interesting, but yeah.
How about this one? How much do you charge for tarot reading?
It's so $50 for an hour or half hour and $100 for an hour. If I do recording, I add $20 on that because there's all the tech time, and I put your video. I save them in YouTube, but people in the public can't see them. But I create a private website or a page on my Peacock's Eyes website for you that's password protected, and you can view it until YouTube shuts down or WordPress shuts down or whatever. Yeah.
Papa Jackery said, you have a kind heart. Wizards of Three say, I totally love your story.
That's the abbreviated one.
Oh my God. I know, maybe for like the Christmas special, we'll do like a 6-hour live.
Well, I'm working on a book on this, so it's an hour.
Oh, that's right. You're gonna have a book out. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna take a while to get that done. I say that, and I'm like, next month, I'll be like, look, my book's done. No. You never know.
What is the rising sign?
Sagittarius. In Western. I'm assuming that's what you're asking.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, any more question?
Well, and interesting, Heather, I don't know if you're an astrologer, but so, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter's conjoined my moon in Pisces, and Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. So that enhances my moon energy.
Whatever you just said is already kind of like, what did you just say?
I'm guessing she's an astrologer. I know I've seen some stuff around, but it's hard to keep track of everyone sometimes.
On the YouTube land. Oh my God, right?
I know, yeah.
I do have one question for you.
Yes.
Like, what is the most difficult thing that you have encountered running your, I don't want to say YouTube business, right?
I don't see, like, YouTube isn't, like, I see what I put out on YouTube, like, well, especially the readings, that's like my volunteer work. Like, here's some, weekly guidance, or here's some astrology. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So do you have any like major difficulties with running your YouTube?
Technical or with commenters?
Do you see your YouTube channel grow certain way, or it's literally just you're gonna just release your content and this is for general public just to open it up?
I'm just releasing content for general public. Again, it's the readings is like that to me. That's like my volunteer service. Like, what can I put out there for other people? And my other discussions too. They're more fun for me, but it helps me. I try to inspire people through that as well. But yeah, it's not like, I do have a monetized channel, but it's not a source of income. Like, I made $100 this year so far. It's like, that's like a tip jar to me.
Right.
Like, that makes up for when I get that, and it's very rare that when I get that occasional really nasty comment.
Oh yeah.
That's like, I have my tip that makes up for that. That's how I think of that. I'm like, whatever, just,
it is what it is.
Leave it there. I don't feed it. So
yeah. I see two more.
No, Leo's son.
Leo. And then
yes. Yeah. So I often combine, I call those my life coaching or counseling sessions, but yeah, I can combine. It doesn't really matter. If you purchase an astrology reading, I can bring in tarot. If you purchase a tarot reading, we can pull up your astrology. And I've thought about that. I've thought about just having one offering, 30 minutes or 1 hour, and we use whatever. But I've noticed when people go to a website, they want things spelled out a little more. So I've kind of left but to me, it's all the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay, one last question. Is there anything special about my son?
They're both very strong. Yeah. So yeah, they're in their own signs. So you have a strong moon and a strong sun, and they're in adjacent signs. Adjacent signs are signs next to each other, have the most conflict. So your sun and moon can be in conflict quite a bit. So you have to really work to find the balance.
Yeah. Voila.
Everything else in your chart, and if something's influencing one more than the other, or where transits are going across. So, but you're going to be, it's up and down, where for me, I say it's like a pendulum swing with a Pisces moon and a Leo sun, because you're adjacent. It's one is going to be stronger than the other, and they're right next to each other. So it's butting heads. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Okay. So one last question. This is one last question.
How do you feel about the tarot community in the Bay Area? I think it's strong. I don't know what you mean, because
I think it's stronger than the Midwest.
I think it's a great place for that. San Francisco, to me, San Francisco is a city just filled with ghosts and spirits, and the occult fits so well there. I actually did go to a tarot meetup a few evenings for a brief period there, and so it seemed pretty active. I didn't actually travel around the Bay Area because I had to be home caretaking. Yeah, but I think Oakland is probably has a pretty strong occult community right now. Oakland, that area, Alameda, but San Francisco itself. And then in San Rafael, they have this awesome bookstore. What's it called? Open Secret. It's all sorts of spirituality stuff. That's the bookstore to go to. They have this huge open area for meetings and tarot cards and books and Buddha statues, and
I need to go there.
it's a good area. It's a good area in general. So, but I wasn't so involved in the community there because I couldn't be. I had to be at home. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. End of the question round from the chat room. Thank you for all those who asked and who saw this
I'll have
live.
to watch this back and read the whole chat because I have no idea what was going on there.
All right. Very last part of the interview. Now you have Julianne. Thank you so much for coming on my channel, doing this amazing interview. You have 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to do whatever you want. This 30 seconds is yours.
How about we pull a card for you, Y?
Okay. Oh my God. Yes, Mama.
Just general. I love like blank questions. Like, what does Y need to know right now?
What does Y?
I like the phrase a lot. Like clients say, I need to know blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, what's up with? I like the what's up question because it keeps it open.
Mm-hmm.
If it's too confined, it like blocks my intuition.
What's up with Y?
What's up with Y? What does he need to know right now?
Oh, this is so fun.
You get the 9 of Cups or nine of water. So what do you feel there, Y? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What does it look like to you?
I see the two moon in the middle, the back-to-back moon. I feel intrigued. I see the word "and" somehow over there.
Interesting.
I actually see a nose. I see a nose where the pointy thing on that side, where the nose is. That's what I see.
Here?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what does that tell you?
It's a person coming?
Well, it's okay. So it's 9 of Cups. I'm going to say, follow your nose. It will show you where your emotions are guiding you. Since you saw these as moons.
Right.
Which they're not, but that's what you saw. Follow your nose, and it will show you where your emotions are guiding you. Okay. And it's a card of happiness, right? So to your happiness.
Is the deck come with a guidebook with all like how much that?
No, there are not individual meanings in here because that would defeat the purpose of the abstract deck.
Oh,
I debated on that for a long time. It's like, should I give meaning? Should I explain every symbol I use? And I was like, no, because if you start intellectualizing it, you lose the subconscious connection.
Wow.
I mean, I talked a little how they're organized a little bit, but yeah, I decided no, I'm not going to do a full guidebook with like this card, traditional meanings, and this is like. Because, then it can't be abstract. Then you start thinking, I'll do this for you. You start thinking, here we have the Jupiter symbol. I can't do this on camera. Here we have Pisces. Here we have the rune that I used for its essence. And you start thinking, oh, well, it means this. And that's not what I want with this deck. That's not the purpose. It's not like you cut off your intuition and your subconscious, what you need to bring from the subconscious to the conscious when you're all in the conscious.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.
It's totally opposite from Children's Tarot, which is like a beginner's deck. Like Children's Tarot is like the complete opposite. Everything's spelled out, the guidebook, keywords, it's like I wrote like I did my two extremes here. It's like there's keywords on it. You know exactly what it means. A child obviously can figure it out. And then this deck, I don't know if you can hear baby screaming for daddy.
I hear baby. Hi, baby.
This deck is like, what does it mean? I don't know. Oh my gosh. How do I feel when I look at it? That's a cool symbol,
I love it. Like, because if I do a spread, right, with like 3 cards or like, I don't know, 9 cards all line up, it will kind of like, I'll be like inside the secret cave with ancient time kind of like.
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps because I'm like, you could like, line up some cards and it could be like, oh, is that cave art? What does it mean?
Exactly. Like, I feel like I'm back in the ancient time, kind of like, like what is this message? Oh, this is so fun.
How do you feel when you see it?
Right.
What random thoughts pop into your head? Or, do you start aching somewhere and that means something to you?
Oh my God, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
It's brilliant. Okay, do I it's running a little long, but I don't care.
Okay.
Briefly talk about the other two decks.
The two decks, yes.
We saw the Children Tarot, which is like for 22 major.
Yeah, Children's Tarot comes with you can get, can't do the camera here. You can get either spiral bound or paperback.
Lovely.
This one's on Lulu, the other one's on Amazon, and it's a coloring book and guidebook. So, let's get to the first one. So it's for kids, so it's not overly wordy, right? So it has that. It has the coloring book page for the cards. And then it has like 2 lined pages so they can take notes, depending on how old they are. So it has that for all the cards.
Oh my God.
Yeah. For little kids who aren't reading, just a coloring book. It's just the coloring book pages. I can't get the camera right.
I might just order that coloring book for me.
Well, it's a great beginner's deck.
Yeah.
For people totally new to tarot. So I call it tarot for the young and the young at heart. Because I'm like, adults could use it. It's fun. Like I simplify it and break it down, the major arcana meanings. And then my deck, the fine lines, it has the peacock. I hide the peacock and everything. So the back of the Children's Tarot. Only thing that doesn't have the peacock is the medieval sigils, because it just didn't fit. But I tend to put the peacock in little things, just like my little signature. Like I realized at some point, like I just accidentally branded myself when I decided to name my blog Through the Peacock's Eyes. So it's like, peacock feathers work. It's great. So these are 44 cards for intentional living. So they're prompts for meditation, for self-discovery, but you can use them as an oracle too. And I do use that. I actually use this as one of the cards for my past life reading special. Oh, and just want to plug that in. If anyone, my dog wants to go out. If anyone's interested in my specials, just sign up for my newsletter. I announce them there. Which, this is an awesome place to be with work and business. If I announce on YouTube, I get too many and I can't handle it. So I just do the newsletter, but anyone can sign up. So no one's left out. I just have to limit it somehow. So they have like love versus fear, and it's all like vintage paper backgrounds, nonconformist versus rebel, awareness versus ignorance. So they have these 2 words that are both connected, and you can see them as opposites too. So I use the word versus.
Sure.
In between. And I write this in the guidebook that, when I first came up with the idea for this deck I was still living in Seattle. It was probably 2007 or 8. It was like 10 years ago. I thought I was going to be writing a book on this. And I think it started out with like, what is love? Love versus fear. And then I had this list of like 50 something, and I had somewhere kind of very similar, and I narrowed it down to 44. So it was going to be a book. And then, stuff happened in life and it just was set aside. And then, not this last summer, but the summer before, I was like, well, let me get back to that. Cause I had the thought like, like a couple of years ago, before I got pregnant, I thought, this might be better as a deck. Could I make it as a deck? And then I did.
You did?
Well, but the concept versus, when I first started it, like 10 years ago or so, I think I thought of the words as like opposites. Well, you either love or you're afraid, right? And that kind of reflects where I was in life then. And as I worked on it, I realized, no, they're 2 sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. So I talk about that. So I did make just a journal, just a matching journal. It's just a blank journal, but it's organized by the cards. And then I was going to do a course, and I was like, this would be better as a workbook. And so I created the workbook. It's huge. It's like 7 by 9. It has a bit more in the intro. And then it has prompts. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It has prompts. The prompts have questions. At the top, I give definitions for the words. Like I kind of consolidated it from a bunch of dictionaries. This prompt goes onto the second page. And then there's 10 journaling pages. Like it's shadow work, basically. It's deep shadow work. And then my Oracle of the Fool. This was a conceptual deck that came from my brainstorming for the Medieval Sigils Tarot.
Okay.
Because I was like starting with the Fool, and I was like getting to its essence. And I was like, I came up with like pages of stuff for the Fool card to get to its essence. And so I came up with it's 22 times 2 deck. So it's 22 cards with the keywords and the same cards without the keywords, because it's the Fool. It's going into the void. So the Fool's about stepping into the unknown. You can't see it. It's chaotic. It's void. So it's a round deck for the 0, the openness, the possibilities. And it's a round deck, so I got to turn them around. And it's keywords that I came up with.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
You see order there?
Yeah.
I had to hide the word. I won't turn them around. Unknown. That really work with the essence of the Fool. The nothing card is all black too. Yeah, there we go. Nothing. It's there. To me, it's like I stuck a little humor in there too. Labyrinth. There's a maze as well. Chaos, possibilities, psyche, Fool, ego, maze, darkness, known, thoughts, commotion, continuum. So yeah, it's like it can be used just as an oracle, and I've occasionally used that like on my weeklies. But it's also a deep dive because I made it's an interactive journal.
Nice.
So this one I lined the pages. So when you self-publish, you can't have too many blank pages in a row. So I couldn't just have blank page. Like I watermark the pages, but this one I lined instead. So we'll have the card. It's all black and white, right? The deck. And one paragraph, little like pseudo description, but it's also a prompt to kind of journey into this image. So this is like looking down a cave hole, and the cave's filled with trees. Well, you can see that on the video there, but it's full in there. It's filled, but it looks dark and empty from the outside.
Nice.
So those are my decks so far.
Yay! So all 4 decks, they are all available through your website. Your website has a link to all those purchases. Yeah,
so just go to the Decks, Books, and I think Decks, Books, and Courses page. Even though I only have 1 course so far, but there's more coming. And yeah, you just click on the picture, and it will take you to where to order it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. Thank you.
This was fun. Thank you. I'm gonna rewatch this tonight just to read through. I don't know what anyone. I'm like trying to look over, but it's too hard.
But yeah, so like me and Julianne has this kinship in a way that she told me her daughter is one of my biggest fan. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Well, I was watching one of Y's videos, I don't know, a few weeks ago, a little longer than that. And my mini me was sitting with me, or she was playing with some toys. And I paused it, and she like points to the computer. She's like, why? And then like later on, like I told him that. And then I think I've looked at your Instagram, and we were like messaging there, and she just kept saying like, oh, why you sent a video, like, oh, you're so precious, right? And oh, I think you sent a picture and you sent a video for that, and I showed her that, and she goes, why? And she kept saying why. It was so cute. So she knows who you are. You're the only person, like, she knows your name. Anyone?
Oh, thank you. I am now famous, everyone. I am famous.
You're famous among 2-year-olds.
Oh, I've made it.
Well, she's an up-and-coming star. She loves to sing.
Oh, well.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's an actress.
Girl, when she's ready, just give me a call. I will give you all the connection that I have.
Okay. No, she sings The Sound of Music nonstop now.
Oh, amazing.
Her favorite musical.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right,
That was
thank you,
amazing.
everyone.
Remember to check out Julian Victoria through the Peacock Eye channel, which is down in the description. All her goodie, Instagram, website, her newest deck, which is amazing. I cannot wait to play with that deck. And for next week, let's just say goodbye before I jump to the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Boop. All right. So quick. Next week will be the talented Colin Campbell over at Prism and Company. It will be next Sunday, same time, same channel. Thank you so much. And I will see you all next week. And if you have any suggestion, comment, please comment down below. Let me know what you think about this live interview series. Remember, I have all this set up. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you will know when the live will be. And then, click on that reminder so that you will know when I go doing all this live. And since it's Sunday, so have a great week. And I will see you all very soon. Boop.